What's going on, guys? Welcome to the All Sports Best podcast. Today is the final game of the regular season this is the final episode for the regular season with Coach Sanders. Coach, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being on all year, by the way.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I enjoy it. I really do.
It's been great. Okay, so we just came off of a game at home against Las Cruces. This very well could be the last game of the regular season against Hobbs. We're going to talk about all of that. We appreciate you guys for listening all throughout the year, and we hope to do this again next week, meaning we've got a playoff spot and we go from there. So, Coach, let's talk about like the playoff setup before we talk about either game. You will find out where we stand Saturday night.
Yeah, so they sent an email out saying that there's some last season member input stuff that we have to fill out and send in. We have to have that in by 6, and then the selection show, they said approximately 10. So 10 p.m. on Saturday night is when they'll do the selection show.
And that's the coach's poll that you're talking about.
They call it the member input. There's it's the same though. It's the coaches polls sent out each week, and then this one's a little different, but it's the same coaches ask the same question. So yeah, basically it's the coaches poll.
Is it like a Google form?
The one during the week, every week is a Google form, and then the last one is it's like a link that you have to go in. So it's tied through the MMA website.
Okay, I was gonna say, because for all that they have to do with all the different divisions, I figured it's got to be kind of like a quick database scan, because they can't sit there and No,
and then that's half the problem, right? Is that, okay, well, we're going to knock out this outlier, and then they just got so much data, and they try to get it out so fast, especially this one. They're going to get it in at 6, and then the selection is done and posted to the public at 10. It's just like, okay, how are we? I don't know. You had that one with Coach Millar, and he begged and pleaded for the coaches poll to be public. I just wish you'd just take it completely out.
That would be cool.
Take it out.
That'd be fine. Yeah.
Take it out.
Okay, so 10 p.m. because there are games going on Saturday too, right?
Yep.
Cruces and Albuquerque do it.
There's I believe there's I think Sandia and who is it?
Is it a big game with playoff implications? Okay,
it's slipping my mind right now, but they don't kick off till 3 p.m. on Saturday.
Oh wow. Okay.
So and that's a game that's going to mean a little bit.
Sure.
So
okay. All right. Interesting. So are you guys doing anything for that 10 p.m. Saturday?
Yeah, we might have the kids come up here. We haven't 100% figured out exactly what we're going to do, but I think it'd be cool if we could use the film room maybe, and then have the kids come up here and check it out. That would be good. A lot of times in the past we haven't even had. I mean, we knew going into it like we're not going to make it, so it was just like, okay, go play Hobbs and give it the old college try and do good, and then we're gonna hang up the equipment on Monday. So. Hopefully that's not the case this year.
Maybe we get a camera on everything so we can see the reaction to. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Absolutely.
All right. So we just came off of the last home game here at Ralph Boyer against Las Cruces, a very, very good football team here in New Mexico.
Yeah, they were solid. That's a solid football team. One of the best football teams I've gone against. Playing or being on the sidelines. There's a couple of teams that come to my mind, but that was a solid football team. They're gonna make their way, up the ranks and through the playoffs, and I still think Cleveland, if they come against Cleveland again, I think Cleveland gets them. But
really,
I do. They were solid, really good football team. Hats off to those dudes.
They're solid. Okay, so we put up 28 points. Is that right? So 28 points was the second highest amount of points that were scored on Las Cruces this year, which, I mean, if you can't beat them, you got to take out what is, the positives. Talk to your guys about things that they can use for motivation and confidence going forward. I think that's a pretty big step in the right direction this year.
It is. We talked to the kids a little bit about, kind of what came out of that game. I know everybody was disappointed. They didn't love the way that we played because we didn't play good. You can't not play good against a team like that and then expect anything less than what happened. So, we brought them in Monday and we talked about it, and we call it taking your medicine. You come in, you take your medicine, you watch film, you get better. And so we did that, and some of the stuff we took out of that is, we had back to the polls and all the algorithms and all the BS that they use to figure out, who's where and what.
Right.
The point differential, based off of what the computer had it as. Computer had us at like a 35, 36 underdog.
Okay.
And then so we outpaced that. So our performance rating for that particular game was actually better than like our Lovington win and
Really?
our Alamogordo win.
Okay.
So even though it looked really, not pretty, according to the computers, it was a decent loss for us when it actually bumped us up, which was, it's pretty crazy to think that, but
Yeah.
we outpaced what they thought we were going to do. So as long as it's not in the red, you're usually, gonna move up. And so you can look at all that stuff however you want. At the end of the day, it just comes down to wins and losses. And,
Right.
Ultimately we'd love to got a win there, but, the kids see what it takes to be a top team in 6A football. And, we got work to do.
I saw on one of the polls that was posted by NMAA, Carlsbad ranked at 9 right now. Is that kind of where we're looking?
I think they had us at 9. Some sports writers have it as 8. Who knows?
Yeah.
I like I was telling you earlier, I'm tired of where we're at and what's this, and if this guy wins and this guy loses and where we're going to be. Is I'm just 10 o'clock Saturday, please get here. Just tell me who we're playing, if we're playing somebody, and let's get ready for them and go play football. It's just all this. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows for sure. Yeah.
It happens every year. This final game of the season, something crazy, funky happens. Clovis threw a whole wrench in the thing a couple of years ago by beating Los Lunas, becoming the district champs. At the time, Los Lunas was a 4 seed, looking to have a bye. And when Clovis beat a district champ, they couldn't put Los Lunas above Clovis. So they dropped from a 4 to a 9 or a 10 or something that season. So there's going to be something funky happen Friday night or Saturday afternoon that's going to throw a wrench in the whole thing, and who knows who's playing.
Hopefully it's us.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
If you were an 8, just hypothetically, because, the polls, that would be a home game, right? Because if top 4 get a bye?
8 plays 9. So it's 8 and 9. So it goes, 5 and 12 and 6 and 11 and 10 and 7. And so the 5, 6, 7, and 8 host. Okay. So, ultimately, if you could slide into that 8 spot, would be awesome. I don't care who you play at that point.
Yeah.
But realistically, if you look at it, I think a lot of things, they've had us at 10, they've had us at 9. So who knows?
Sure. One of the things that you had kind of touched on before the podcast was a couple of mistakes in that game. We had some punting situations where we were pinned up against our own end zone, and the ball ended up out of the back of the end zone. Obviously, a safety. The other team gets the ball. So it's double penalty.
Yeah.
It's tough. What did you see in that maybe we look forward to changing maybe against Hobbs or going forward?
No, I of course we're gonna get that changed, of course.
Get it fixed.
Get it fixed. Get in there and figure out who can get a snap back there, and then fielding the snap, and then we've grown. You go back to the Siebel game, we sit there and looked at the ball, and they fell on it for a touchdown. So, it's a bad case scenario, but I'd rather give them 2 than 7. So, with that being said, it's just we spent a little extra time on special teams this week, and I said we did some uncharacteristic things against Cruces. I don't know if the lights were too big or the kids got a little, wide-eyed. I'm not really sure, but I think they kind of settled down after everything kind of, first quarter or so. But unfortunately, they came out with their foot on the gas, and that's a really good offense, and that's a really good defense, and I haven't seen anybody stop them yet. They just scoring at will. 22's a dude. I talked to him after the game, told him I'm glad he's a senior. Glad to see you later, buddy. But yeah, that's a good football team. They're not unbeatable, but it's you're gonna have to play. For Cavemen, we have to play absolutely amazing to get those guys.
Sure.
Not something I don't think we can do. I think we'd learn from that if we ever see them again, and it's possible we could. But what our big thing is just focus on our kids, our program, our schematics, our boo-boos, fix us.
Sure.
I'm not too worried about who we're playing. As long as we do what we need to do, I feel like we have a chance.
On a punt formation, are you not allowed to hit the long snapper?
No, he's protected because his
Okay,
head's
okay.
down.
Okay,
His
that's
head's
what I
down.
was wondering because when I was paying attention to it, is that at every level?
I don't know if the NFL. I imagine it is. I mean,
Okay.
if it's a safety type of deal, get me wrong on rules. I'm all
I was
over the
gonna
place
say
on rules, man.
I've never really paid attention to it, but
Yeah.
whenever we had done it the other day, I saw that Marley had jumped in to do the long snap, and I was like, "Ooh, that sounds like a risk," but nobody was going to touch him, so I thought, "Oh, okay, that's fine."
Yeah, he's protected. Now he's not protected once he leaves. You know,
Okay.
he can still
Once he
get
takes a
blocked or
step,
get
maybe?
hit. Yeah, like
Okay.
so. I mean, you could have a back or someone sitting there waiting for him, but during the snap, when his head's down and he's looking back, he's protected, which
Okay.
is probably the right thing to do.
I think
of
so.
course.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
but yeah, it's you know, if Marley's the guy that has to do it, then so be it. At this point in the game, we got to put the best 11 on the field no matter what.
Mhm.
So, and that's our starting quarterback deep snapping or holding for an extra point or playing right tackle. We're gonna do what we can to win. So
Right now, with you saying put the best 11 on the field, are guys healthy right now? Like the dudes?
yeah, we're good. Yeah, we don't have. I mean, we got little nicks and bumps and boo boos and stuff, but nothing serious, nothing that's gonna alter our game plan. So yeah, we're healthy.
Very good. Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's nice to, because in the years past we haven't been healthy at this point in the game, so it's nice to have a full slate of kiddos.
Yeah, week 10, going to Hobbs, playing against the Eagles, on their home turf is always something that you really kind of look forward to throughout the year. What are your expectations against the Eagles?
Hobbs sitting at number 3. They're a really good football team too. I look at it and it's just like there's a chance we got, 1, 3, 4 all coming out of our district. So like our district's tough, and Hobbs is no different. I don't think Hobbs is Cruces. I mean, they've proven that. I think there was like 53-12 or something was their score, but they're a really good football team. Offense is good. They got dudes everywhere. They score it well, and their defense has improved. I think their strength is, they got big linemen, front offense and defense. They got, their secondary is pretty strong. They got 2 really good running backs. They got a couple good receivers, and that quarterback's, I think he's 3rd or 4th in the state in rushing as a quarterback.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
He's definitely a handful as well. So, I mean, like I said, they got guys, but Hobbs always does. Hobbs has always had athletes out the wazoo. They should be competing year in, year out for state championships, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. A big school, right?
It's the biggest school in the state.
Biggest school in the state. So they're going to be there. I'd imagine a packed stadium. What are your guys feeling heading into this game?
I think we're going to take a different approach than we took against Cruces High, and we'll keep that in house. But
Okay.
they're going to show up. They're going to play. It's Hobbs. They look forward to this game every single year. This is the game for them. So, yeah, they're ready. They'll be just fine. I think you'll see a different football team than you saw against Cruces.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah. And of course, you guys talk about this game throughout the week. What is the coaches or the coaching staff's mindset, I guess, coming into this, in terms of time? You talk about you don't really like to get there super early, basically put too much weight on these kids. You guys are leaving around 3 and getting over there?
Yeah, we'll get there to where we arrive, 4:30, 5 o'clock, where there's just not a whole lot of sitting around waiting. We don't want to do that. It's just, I guess, the couple hours before game's the worst, absolute worst. I can't stand it. That's the worst 2 hours of the week. Is that
right?
From 5 to kickoff. It's just like, can we just kick this
limbo
thing off and go? Yeah. So we try to minimize that as much as possible. Like I said, roll up in the bus and get off the bus and change and throw the ball out there and let's play football. That's I know some guys get there super early. Some guys are like us. So it's just, it fits us. That's what we like. That's what our kids are used to, and we're not going to change anything for Hobbs. I mean, it's another Friday night for our kiddos as far as travel and all that good stuff. So
yeah. The beginning of the year, you started using more technology, I think, than ever, right? This year, and you're able to track, performance, fatigue, all of that stuff. How do you feel like that's benefited the team this year from beginning to week 10?
So our kids are wearing the GPS pucks, and they wear them every time they step out of this field house. Even if it's a walkthrough, they're on, so they're constantly being tracked. There's like 55 different metrics that those GPS track. And to be honest, at the end of the day, the kids, they see it, we show it to them. I don't think it sinks into them as much as it does for the coaches. We analyze that data every single day. And to be honest, what it does for us is it makes us better coaches as far as understanding what we're doing to our kids, what we're not doing to our kids, and how the week looks. It allows us to plan better. It allows us to see trends that are good or bad. And if it's good, we want to duplicate that. If it's bad, then we'll adjust and look at it and see, okay, well, if today's a low day and we got a spike in load, say at 7:37 a.m., we'll go back and we'll put that against our practice script and say, okay, well, why did we spike there? What are we doing during this period that we can adjust or maybe move to a high day to where we're trying to keep that load really high?
Okay.
So, it's like, okay, well, we were doing kickoff. Well, no crap. We're running down the field 100 yards. That's probably why we're spiking. So let's move that to a Wednesday when it's a high day. And then it's just load management. We see what those kids are doing. We see what their game loads are. And we kind of work backwards from there. You see your game load and you say, okay, well, this is what we expect them to do on a Friday night. Our week needs to be able to adjust and do what we need it to do to match what we want for the week. I know I'm not saying that kind of weird, but we know what we want our kids at. So we plan accordingly during the week based off of what that game load is. And then you see, okay, wow, we have 3 or 4 outliers. Bobby's load's crazy high every single week. So if we try to base our practice off of what Bobby does,
right,
we would be
team can't keep up like that.
Yeah, I know. But so we can break that thing down by kiddo. We can break it down by offense, defense. We can break it down by position groups. We can break it down by skills and bigs, and so we adjust our training and our conditioning and our weight room all based off of that data. So
that's incredibly
It's made us a better staff. It's helped us realize things that you really don't see, if you don't have that data. You think, okay, well, today, it was pretty light. We didn't really do that much. And then you stick them on the computer and you pull the data and you're like, holy cow, we were really high today for some reason. Well, what did that? And we've had some of those aha moments this year where we've learned, like, okay, we don't need to do that on a low day or a high day or vice versa. So, it's just made us efficient.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. That's where the game's, kind of going. But
2 years ago, I had Coach Cale Sanders on the podcast, and we were doing railroad ties.
Yep.
And it was keep pushing. The game has changed so much. Just being able to see what's going on in the body, because that might build character, but you can build character and reach peak performance, right? The way you're doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can still win doing that. The old saying is dumb beats dumber every time.
Okay.
So I think there's a time and place for that. I still, deep in my heart feel like pulling ties cures cancer sometimes. But,
yeah.
It's, if you're going to compare me 2 years ago to now, it's just, I've just kind of opened up a little bit as far as, just the thinking of coaching. And honestly, this group of kiddos, they've been with me since the beginning. And I kind of came in, maybe this guy and this group of kiddos has really changed the way I see things and see kiddos, and not in a bad way. It's just, I had to adapt as a coach. And to be honest, they've probably helped me more than I've helped them as far as, just personal development. I've changed the way I think and act as a coach tremendously in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not bad. It's just the way it is. The old ways of doing stuff. It's just, you gotta keep up with the times or it'll leave you.
I was going to say, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah,
without it,
and unfortunately, I think you're starting to see that, especially like in the college ranks. You got the Sabins of the world and those older, like, grinder type dudes.
Yeah.
And then the whole world of NIL and stuff. It's just different now. And those guys that have done that their whole life, the old school way, you can see them. They saw it writing on the wall. I think Saban was probably the smartest one out of them all. He saw it before all of them and got out. I think other ones are, trying to. I can still, but it's different. These kids are no different. We have to change the way we coach, the way we handle these kids, and you got to still do it with holding them accountable and having standards. You still have to do that. So it's tough to figure out that mix between, changing your style and still keeping the standards and protecting the program.
Sure.
And it's been tough. And we've done some good stuff and we've done some bad stuff, and we've learned from the good and the bad. So, and we'll continue to do that. And the next group of kiddos that come in will be different. We'll have to adjust to them. And to me, it's just being able to be open and adjust and change the way, even schematically, we have to change every single year. We're a different football team than we were last year with Cavemen. So you just have to be able to adapt. You can't just be like, this is the way it is. This is how we're going to do it. You fit this mold or you get out. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So,
well, when I'm thinking, talking about the transformation and of course, adapting, when you're talking about, the loads and all of that stuff, are you looking to do basically this kind of thing where you're kind of just going back and forth, resting?
I mean, it's a seesaw. It's
okay.
So,
but it's like ever inclining, or no?
It is.
Okay.
So the whole goal is to outlast the season is what you're trying to do. You're trying to be healthy. Like at the end of the day, this is the most important week. So the whole season, we're trying to just slowly stay
Take
going
steps.
this way, right? We still want to get, and it's wild because just last week we had 3 kids PR in their speed.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
So where most programs are, they're going the other way. They're tired. They're beat up. They're banged up. I feel like we're going the other way. It's you can tell that our kids they're fresh. They're going through games. We don't have kids that are falling out. You see some stuff. I feel like Alamo kind of felt a little bit of that with some of their dudes, like they're just putting them to the grinder. And I think Lovington has a little bit of that going on in the smaller schools that are going one way. They're just grinding their kids to the bones. And, so the way we're doing it, we're trying to keep them as fresh as possible, trying to keep them as healthy as possible. And so we haven't stopped training. Like we still speed train every single day. Every single day we speed train. So we're continuing our training, and then, of course we're managing the loads, and so far so good. It's our knock on wood, of course, but our soft tissue injuries are almost nothing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a lot of contact injuries, but I can't protect
you can't fix that regardless.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I think what we're doing is working. So I think the kids have bought in, and they see it. We showed them a graphic of our OG times when we started to what they were at 10:28, and there was almost a 2 mile an hour increase in our average speed for the team.
Wow,
which is
huge.
Is crazy. It's a crazy jump. So I'm proud of them. They've I think some of them kind of had a hard time with it at the beginning. It was like, come on, coach, like we got to do more. It's
right.
Like, you almost have to be uncomfortable of how little you do. But yeah, it's good. So, I mean, we'll keep going and keep doing it until, some new fandangle thing comes out, and we'll try that one too. But
right. Yeah.
So far
now you're on board with all the tech, so it's not going to be as hard,
No, it's the old Yellow Chief tablet's going to have to get put up. So yeah, it's pretty wild. That and we got the VR training and the huddle stuff, and it's just this game's different, And I really feel like, you see Texas already went to the plays on the wristwatches and stuff. So that's not far behind for the NFHS. So it's going to be, you better get on the train or it'll leave you at the station.
For sure. Okay. So one of the things, we'll talk about something going on in sports right now. Brian Kelly getting fired, from LSU, big buyout, that's a big story. But one of the main things that's coming out right now is people hating this guy. Like, he was not a good guy, right? How do you balance being like, and I mean, this is from you specifically, not, speaking on Brian Kelly per se, but, a lot of stories that come out about him, like, man, he was kind of a jerk. If you weren't being used, then you weren't, of any value. How do you show these players, these athletes, as they come through your system, like, hey, we want you to be a better person, and we want to show you that we care. How do you guys balance that and being,
Well, that's the most important thing you said. It is, you have to show them that you truly care about them, that they're not just a pawn in your chess game. And they're not. We got kids going through stuff, and we truly care about our kids. And sometimes they might not think that because we're on them all the time. But I think if we are not on them, that's probably when you need to worry, to be honest. But I can sit here and truly tell you that our staff loves our kids. They do stuff that nobody sees, that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
That we're not asking for any love or attaboys or a pat on the back. That's just what they are. That's who they are. That's how they're wired. They love kids. It does hurt because you get the internet world that runs out here and just wants to bad talk everything that we do or make a comment on your stuff. And it gets old, but whatever. It's those guys are, I always tell these guys, just don't worry about that. That the sheep the lions don't care about what the sheep think.
Right.
If you can win the kid over, and you truly, truly care about the kiddos, you've won. And then they'll follow you through thick and thin. They'll do whatever you ask. And I think our kids have done that. I think our staff has done that. And our kids, they make it easy. I mean, they're good kids. We got a turd or two, but
you're gonna have
yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
But genuinely, I think our kids are really good people. Like I said, then we have kids that are going through some tough stuff, and it's just our job is to, sometimes we're more than a coach. Sometimes we're the guy that's giving them food when they're hungry.
Yeah.
Giving them advice when no one's there to give them advice. To give them a hug when no one hugs them, to help them with, college freaking resumes and a lot of that stuff that goes kind of out of sight, out of mind. And like I said, we're not looking for attaboys. It's just, we're dad to a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the bell.
Right. Yeah,
Time to go to
exactly.
class.
Got to get out of here. It's a big part of it. So, obviously, like you're saying, sincerity goes a long way, especially in sports. They're going to play for you. They're going to go out there and they're going to do their thing and listen to you when you need to get a message across. But my last thing, getting a message across, do you have a message for your seniors on their last regular season game in their career?
Yeah, just go out and, what you guys have done the last, 3 or 4 years. You've been through the ups and you've been through the downs. You've been through, living in a portable for the majority of your career.
They've lived it all.
Yeah, they've been around the block. They've seen everything. They've done good. You have nothing to be ashamed about. I'm proud of you. You guys have done awesome. Love every single one of you guys. It's a big group. It's like 29 kiddos. So it's the largest group we've had since, that Sukups last year with Saul and all those guys. So I personally want to thank you guys because you've done a lot for me. You've changed the way I think and the way I coach, and you've molded me to be a better person. That'll never go away. I got a kiddo that's a senior, so this one's kind of a little different. It hits a little harder, but every one of them I feel like it's my boy. But yeah, it's a really good group. I just hope they can finish on the right note and they can, do something that this program hasn't done in 15, 16 years, and that's win a playoff game. Yeah. Of course, you got to get there first. But yeah, so they've been a special group, and I firmly believe that they're going to get there, and we're going to give everything we got to get this town a playoff win.
Absolutely. Coach,
Absolutely.
thank you so much. Rooting for you guys
All right,
hard.
man.
Let's make
Appreciate
it happen.
Thanks, bud.